Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. Today let's talk about the PvP progression system and how I think you could buff the rewards for PvP. Recently we had an awesome brawl for Shadowpan Showdown. I love it. It was a little bit weird and sometimes buggy, but I love it. But I'm probably not going to spend the whole week while the brawl is out PvPing. Actually, I'm probably going to be gearing up my character to do more normal raids and Mythic Plus dungeons. Normally, I would think about doing PvP content if I want to progress my character, but in Legion, PvP is not quite as rewarding. If you take a look at the new brawl, the Shadowpan Showdown, I believe is the name of it. That brawl is an exciting brawl with a lot of competitive aspects to it, and especially if you get yourself a team comp, versus against other team comps. And I know the brawls are just there for fun, but they could be more competitive. I mean, some people treat them competitively, to treat them seriously, but that won't happen unless you have seriously good rewards. And your rewards are skirmish worth a win. Most people just do the brawl for that one win to get whatever the RBG worth of AP out of it for the bonus, and then they most of the times don't go back unless they simply love the brawl. But people that normally PvE get one win and done. People that don't care about PvP in general, that rather roleplay or whatever, one win and done. Even people that PvP regularly might even queue actual RBGs regularly, or arenas, or normal battlegrounds, because the brawl, in this case at least, isn't that much better than whatever you're already doing right now. So I feel like PvP could honestly just have better rewards. And maybe it's a difference because of content, because of the players, because of challenges and difficulty. Let me give you an example. In PvP, if you have gladiators and 2400 players, 2700, even 2200, hell, difference between like AP for a 2k player and a 1500 player would set off the better players to be getting better. In a way, it's like rich keep getting richer. And Blizzard kind of tried to do the whole thing in Legion where they want to standardize and normalize PvP, so everybody is on the more or less same playing field, except people that are good at the game get better gear with a slight advance. What is it? A 1% utility usefulness, or just 1% better than other classes, other than everybody else, every 10 items or something. So if you have somebody in PvP who's like 920 and somebody who's 900, the difference between your power levels, your agility, intellect, whatever, is 2%, right? Yeah. And while gear, like some gear, elite gear, looks awesome, it's a recolor to PvE gear. Let's take a look at PvE and see how Blizzard did PvE right. Let's take a look at Mythic Plus. It's a group content that is challenging. It climbs in levels every time you complete a key, gives you a random dungeon. Every time you lose it, drops one. And when you win one, depends on how fast you complete, it can upgrade by 1, 2, or 3. The better the upgrade, the better the gear. The higher the key you complete by the end of the week, the better the rewards, the AP you get, the gear that you can even share with others. So as a group, let's say you have a guild group, everybody wins, everybody benefits, everybody gets a piece of gear. You have a guild coming in with a leatherware, plateware, maybe like 2 clothies. Somebody gets a trinket or a neck piece that they don't need. They can just give it to somebody else. So now the group grew an item level. Everybody gets AP, so you can just farm these back to back to back over and over and over, get better at them, take on the more challenging mechanics as a group. You either all fail by, I guess, not completing on time, but you still get rewards for completing the dungeon, or you get to advance and upgrade your keys and try a harder dungeon, and if you get that one, even better rewards. You can spend a whole weekend of just farming Mythic Plus and get a ton of AP. For PvP, it's not quite the same. Even if you have a specific arena team together that just grinds the rating, tries to get higher, the AP rewards don't get any better. The higher your rating climbs, the higher your mark climbs, the better you guys get, the rewards don't really upgrade. Even when it comes to, I guess, gear is completely randomized, so you could either get like, you know, full set of like elite 920 and plus item level gear. Hell, look at Titan Force for like 950, but does it always? For me, my experience with PvP has either been I'm getting trinkets that I don't need because they're more or less useless. They're just an item level upgrade for PvP, which is not necessary in most cases. Just one trinket, not really. Now for the item level I'm rocking right now, or the relics that are giving me buffs to like my healing as an Outlaw Rogue. In PvE, I'd rather one that gives more run through damage. But my Ghost Shell healing, I don't really need it. But that's the kind of rewards I've been getting. The rewards are randomized, so you don't really have this control of what you want to upgrade. I mean, you kind of do after you throw your gear in the furnace, get whatever tokens out of it, and then try to roll again for an RNG piece. Hopefully that piece of gear upgrades, and hopefully you get something good. but there's just not as good of a progression system. And it feels like just doing a weekend of PvE, whether it be raids, Mythic Plus, hell, almost any kind of solo, even solo PvE content, like just doing world quests back to back, trying to see what kind of gear you can get, AP you can farm. It feels like there's a lot better progression there. For PvP, there's just not that much. But we can take a look at other rewards that Blizzard had, like gear. Gear used to look different. Back in Kata, Miss Pandaria, and first season of Warlord's General, we actually had different looking sets for PvP and PvE, which was awesome. I got to see that back in the day, BC and Wrath, and I guess vanilla-ish, but not really in vanilla because it didn't have sets. The gear actually looked exactly the same for PvE and PvP. But when you separate it, you give PvPers like a really high rated gladiator. He's gonna look different than a mythic raider. That was awesome. It gave people a reason to go get those pieces of gear. And you collect the points whether you farm it or whether you're just really good and you play at high rating, so you get a lot more points, better wins, and bigger cap. You can get the same pieces of gear, and if you're really good, get the elite version. So you look cool, you get different gear, you are different, you look different, you stand out. But the way we have the gear now is just recolors. Hell, even LFR is just a recolor of like some of the coolest sets ever, especially if you're Rogue in 7.3. I love the set. Even the mounts, okay, let's talk about prestige systems. The mounts, recolors. I hate recolors. I hate recolors. They should have never done recolors to begin with. I mean, and a lot of people that played in Wrath and BC probably are used to the idea of recolors, and I'm here like, why are we recoloring? I'm so tired of it. Bring back separated gear, because I started playing Kata. I played through Pandaria. First season of Warlord's General was awesome because I got my primal set, elite from there. I'm still rocking the shoulders from that set. I have the full thing, and it's one of my favorite sets, just as a full set of gear, especially with the mask that I'm rocking on my character. But Blizzard just, I don't know. The PvP, you don't really have, or it seems like you don't have as many rewards, you don't have as many incentives for people to try. Hell, for even low-rated players that are not great in PvP, there's almost no reason to PvP unless you just like it. I feel like we should have more competitive PvP rewards, like more AP, especially if you're good at the game. A hell of a lot more AP. Maybe just more AP for doing BGs and continually doing BGs. Maybe more AP for sticking in the battleground through the whole thing instead of like quitting. Maybe more AP for teams that are sticking together and queuing arenas and climbing rating and seeing some sort of improvement, even if it's like going from 1300 to 1400 or from 1700 to 2400. We should have some kind of improvement, some kind of progression system that can be seen, even if it's just through artifact power, in my opinion. I feel like it might not happen in this patch, not maybe in this expansion, but it's a pretty good idea for future expansions. Or they could, you know, just make different gear, so I could look cooler than some of my PvE friends. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below.